Okay, so today we are recording part 2 of erythropoiesis, that is the steps involved, right? So first of all, to begin with the erythropoiesis 2, let me talk about the first cell which is responsible for formation of all the cells of red blood cells is called the stem cell. Right, the stem cell is also called as a pluripotent hematopoietic cell. Pluripotent means the tendency to divide and redivide and to form multiple number of cell or of various types. And hematopoietic means the cell which can lead to the formation of blood cells, because poiesis means formation and hemato means blood cell. Right, so blood cell is not specifically an RBC. It could be a white blood cell, it could be platelets, it could be any other cell form. So basically, stem cell is the first cell which is responsible for formation of red blood cells. How this happens? This will lead to the formation of red blood cell or RBC. But how this happens? This is a stepwise process. So can I say that this is the most important cell or the prime cell which can lead to the formation, and it is pluripotent in nature. Pluripotent means the tendency to divide and redivide and redivide. So this is the sole cell which has the regeneration capacity of forming multiple number of cells. Now what happens with stem cells? There is the first cell which forms, which is basically initiated by the secretion of EPO as well as iron dependency, which will carry on the later stages. So how stem cells start secreting or start forming a type of cell which is a precursor cell which will ultimately lead to the formation of red blood cell. So stem cells will first of all form proerythroblast. So proerythroblast is the step 1, or this is the, you can call it a precursor cell. I can call it the precursor. So what do you mean by precursor basically? Precursor is something which will lead to the formation of ultimately a different type of cell. So this is basically initiating a process. So stem cell is the first cell which is pluripotent in nature and has the capacity. So stem cell basically has the capacity of forming all of these types of cells: red blood cell, white blood cell, platelets and other cell forms. So how it leads to the formation of red blood cell is a stepwise process. In step 1, proerythroblasts are formed, which are precursor cells. Now what happens in step 2? Proerythroblasts lead to the formation of early erythroblast. Early erythroblasts lead to the formation of intermediate erythroblast. Intermediate erythroblast, they lead to the formation of late erythroblast, which leads to the formation of reticulocyte. So reticulocyte, this is important because this is the step when the red blood cell actually loses its nucleus, and now this becomes what is called denucleated. The nucleus has to move out of the red blood cell, because when it comes out, now this can easily carry oxygen by binding with hemoglobin. Had there been any nucleus present, then hemoglobin and oxygen together, then oxygen is present here, then aerobic respiration would have been performed and red blood cell would have consumed the entire oxygen it is carrying. So denucleation is an important step, and that happens in the reticulocyte step. So this I can say is step 3, this I can say is step 4, and this is step 5. What happens with step 6? So this is the ultimate maturation step, where the maturation of reticulocyte takes place, and our final step, red blood cell, also called as erythrocyte formation, takes place. So erythrocyte formation is taking place by the help of stem cell in initial stages, and then it leads to the formation of precursor cell which accelerates the process, and all the entire process of erythropoiesis from this step to pro-erythroblast is stimulated by EPO, and rest all is due to iron dependent. So iron is an important nutrient required in the maturation of RBC, so its presence is required, and similarly EPO's presence is required to the formation of a precursor cell. This is the entire process of erythropoiesis. One thing has to be noted, that reticulocyte is an important mark where it becomes denucleated, and red blood cell, obviously this is denucleated, nucleus is out, and it has a biconcave shape. This is the marked shape of a red blood cell. Red blood cell is also called as erythrocyte. In some books you will be noting about that pro-erythroblast are also called as normoblast, or we talk about the intermediate cells like burst cells, which is formed after the stem cell. The stem cell leads to the formation of burst cell, then leads to the formation of colony forming cells, and then finally pro-erythroblast is formed. So I am not discussing that into deep because that will be too much complicated. This is the basic easy steps of learning how stem cell leads to the formation of red blood cell. And as we all know that what is the site in which all the stem cells are forming? The stem cells are forming red blood cells, they are forming white blood cells, they are forming platelets, means thrombocytes and other formed elements. So all of this is happening in the bone marrow, right? This is happening in the bone marrow region in case of an adult. In the previous lecture I talked about that stem cell leads to the formation of bone marrow in case of kids, but that is happening in other sites as well, like the yolk sac, etc. So today I am concluding on this erythropoiesis. This is the part 2 and stepwise process. In the next lecture I'll be talking in detail about what other factors are